Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
You know what? I talk to your mayor.
Cruising the whip, pimpin' fun times. Masked up, supersizing a verbal drive-by. Speed dialing hair club for men. Wondering if a statue maketh they'll buy it again. But this is bigger than lead press on hair, or I respect sending emails no one reads because they don't care. Or the summary of your life goes: lit, broken dreams and pockets filled with holes. Remember you begged saying you were a fan, like on the daily how you pretend to be a man. All because you didn't get your way, screaming out so because no one listened to what you say. Honestly, that's pathetic, and maybe I would have been a tad sympathetic. But you had to make this personal, hoping for a sudden career or life reversal, not knowing that all of the money in the world can't project the one that you'll never have, and that's a modicum of respect. And apparently some folks haven't heard that targeting kids is a useless lawsuit, so written words. That's an invitation to the wrecking ball, and like Pokemon, baby, you're gonna catch it all. And you're gonna catch them all. Yeah, you're gonna catch them all. And sure, you'll drop some lines and pretend that they slap, but listening to you is like catching an E version of the clap. And we aren't talking applause, we're talking penicillin. Pretending someone other than life is your arch villain. But keeping blaming your problems on the Hales, and pretending that your tears will erase your fails. Simply trying to boost your self-esteem by weaponizing an army of never was for your next live stream. Now go chase your ambulance, cause I'm out.
I'm actually back in. What's up, babies? How's it going today? Happy Friday, man. I forgot to tag my video again. I was like, wait a minute. I mean, first of all, appreciate all of you. There are quite a few. I mean, we have 1,300 people here, but I'm like, did I leave something out? Yes, forgot to tag the video. Holy crap. I'm going to shill a little bit today, too. And man, I've seen a bunch of memberships. Thank you, folks, for that. I'm going to shill, though, and I'll tell you why today, okay? If you'd like to support this wonderful endeavor, yeah, think about doing that. So check this out. I want to show you what I'm going to shill for today. So I've been looking into something all day long. There's a case. I'm not sure if you've seen the shorts for it yet, the YouTube shorts, right? But there is a primarily TikToker that has a case against these two people. Essentially what happened here is this there's a point. It links into what we're covering. Okay. Like big time. So this TikToker does a video that video, it shows some people doing things they don't like being out there. So they sue him. Now he ends up countersuing. When he countersues as it goes along, Paint Chips gets involved. There's the allegation that Paint Chips is brought in along with this other guy to harass the crap out of the primarily TikToker. Okay. Now, the reason I think this is important to look at, first of all, is because when we start looking into it, we really get a good glimpse of Paint Chips. But this is the craziest shit ever. So you can get some court documents free off a Court Listener. So I've been going through Court Listener, picking up some, and some I've been paying for. You know, typically I wouldn't worry about it if it's a small case. This is a huge case. They have papered this case so thoroughly that there are over 300 and what is it? So here's the docket, okay? Just to give you an idea. Look at this shit. You talk about people edging for a mistrial. I'm going to show you some wild stuff I've already found in here, and this needs to be explored. This is Paint Chips' fine little dandy work here. You know, you see all of this. Look, we're in the 300s in filings. Now, what's really wild about this is it's sometimes, so you have a filing, which I have looked at. You can see the ones that are free, you know, the free ones, if they're available. Again, if you're ever curious, there are certain sites you can get some free documents from. Some of them you're going to pay for. But in this, like I said, there's a bunch to weed through. But in here, this relief fascinated me. Why? Because it starts talking about anonymous pro se filings. I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on with this, right? Yeah. Now, I can't pin it to one person, okay? So I cannot definitively say I'm stating that it's about Paint Chips or the other guy. There are two people that are brought in and accused of being harassers in this, but yeah, it definitely, it stinks of somebody that is trying to cause a mistrial, or trying to cause problems in this courtroom. If you look through some of the filings, you'll find the filing is done by a John Doe. Look at all the John Doe filers. John Doe, John Doe 2, John Doe 3, John Doe 5, John Doe 6, John Doe 69. They're spamming this case. It is a legit case, but they're spamming filings into it. And the judge basically you see all of them that are stricken by 339. But still, these are filing. That's why it's up there. See, stricken by 339. I mean, it's insane. This shit is absolutely insane. So if you would like to explore this a bit and you would like to support the endeavor of pulling the shit out of documents and finding out what's there, well, think about supporting today. You know, that is definitely appreciated today. But that would be a fascinating one. And again, it's not about covering that case. I would like to understand some of what's there, but I'd like to know, this guy had a YouTube short talking about the case and Paint Chips being brought in. Give me a second. Just give me a minute. I might pull that up actually. Take me just a second though, but it's worth it. Like I said, this has been what my mind's been stuck on all freaking day long. I've been going through it just because, wow. Again, you talk about a crazy setup. I mean, this guy, I said, they have come in though, and they've tried to wreck this case. And it's funny because old Paint Chips, he reminds me, you know, you talk about similarities in some of the filings. Now, again, I'm not saying that anything was filed by a Paint Chips, but you know, there were allegations that Paint Chips may have had a hand in helping with certain things that came up. And it is interesting considering, like I said, there's some, oh, here, let me just show you. Okay. So Paint Chips, for example, files, where is it? Paint Chips files to try to knock down being subpoenaed. He doesn't want to be subpoenaed, of course. You know, he doesn't want to be part of this, which he wants to be part of it. He just doesn't want to actually be subpoenaed into it. Now, as part of that, he asks for sanctions. And I thought the sanctions discussion, it reminded me a lot of some of the stuff I've seen recently. You know, the thing I'm kind of going to talk about a little bit of an addition to today. But this right here, for example, check this out here. I love looking through court documents. The sanctions against plaintiff and plaintiff's counsel. You know? I mean, you see him. Pursuant to Rule 45D1, Rule 26B2C, the court's inherent power impose monetary sanctions in the amount of at least $100,000 against the plaintiff and plaintiff's counsel, jointly and equally, for their bad faith conduct in issuing and serving bad faith subpoenas frivolously, overbroadly. Man, who does this remind you of? What is it again? I'm not saying. I'm just saying, that's fascinating. It's also fascinating watching them get shot down, too. When the judge is like, you know what? Even if, this kind of reminds me of some stuff we've seen in the recent case we're covering, too, as far as you also have, well, he demands various sanctions from the plaintiff and his attorney. For example, Paint Chips asks the court to award fees, costs, and expenses and impose monetary sanctions of at least $100,000. The court will not impose sanctions under any of the authorities cited, even if Paint Chips is a journalist. That does not render him immune to discovery. Now, they apparently had a issue with the subpoena, so they withdrew it, and they were supposed to file it again. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. So, like I said, 300 and something documents. There's a lot to go through, but I'm curious about the Paint Chip involvement, because again, there's a pattern to these folks. They love to call themselves "quote unquote" journalists, but I personally believe that they are harassers for hire. They are brought in, they ask for money from folks, they get involved in cases, and they get accused of some pretty bad shit. Pretty bad. The accusations in this case, for example, are that one of the witnesses ran off, I believe an expert witness. They ran off the case. And you also had people being mailed items that nobody should have had their hands on. Apparently, the lawyers. This was the accusation. The lawyers, of course, are going to have the ability to get a hold of documents, right? And suddenly, Paint Chips has a hold of them and is mailing them out. That's weird, isn't it? That's weird. It reminds me of this case and why, I wouldn't trust again when they were talking about wanting confidential information. It's like, I wouldn't want some of these lawyers to have it. Because, I mean, really, what has been the thing that's keeping them in check? Fat Boy Paint Chips also said that this guy, quote, fit the profile for a family murder. I'm going to say offing yourself. You know what I'm saying. This platform does not like that one word. So, I mean, so with regard to check this out. I'm reading off of one of these. So with regard to a mysterious package mailed to my sister-in-law, 4-page letter extensively discusses one of my expert witnesses in their expert report. Okay, now, as far as where that came from, the only people it notes that would have had the ability to give that to anybody, that would have been lawyers. The judge also, I mean, the judge brings up, now the judge will bring up Camp. All right. There's two people that accused, Camp and Paint Chips. But Camp's name comes up a lot. But remember, Camp and Paint Chips, they're both noted in all of this stuff. The documents may not. But check this out. This is about all those anonymous emails too. So look at this. This is even crazier. I mean, this is a wild, wild shit. So this is Judge speaking about that case and its involvement. Again, if it names Camp as a harasser, he also named Paint Chips. So I put their names together in this kind of stuff. This matter has come before the court on review of the file. This is talking about all those anonymous filings, right? From the case's inception, the plaintiff has alleged the defendants have acted in concert with non-party Camp. And again, Paint Chips is involved there too, to harass him, his family, and parties involved in this case. Recently, April the 4th, John Doe Jane Doe and John Doe Jane Roe and John Doe Jane Roe 2. I just went with twos, instead of saying two, appeared for the first time by filing motions to quash. Now the plaintiff subpoenaed to Google, asking for YouTube, requiring Google to produce all basic subscriber information from any of Camp's profiles, including quite a few different items there. Then John Doe Jane Roe and John Doe 2 Jane 2 filed 6 duplicative notices that they are not Camp. 6 duplicative. They're flooding this thing. They're flooding the filings on there. More filings by John Does were made. In addition, 30 filings were made within the last days by flyers identifying themselves as John Does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 69. 30 filings were spammed under this in days under the John Does. So it notes all of these documents. I'm curious. I want to read through the John Doe documents too. They include replies to the motion to quash, objections, the magistrate judge's order denying the motion to quash. Oh, give me a second. That's my phone. That's my Silent Hill ringtone. Give me a second. I got a text real fast. Just give me 1 minute. That's my mom, actually. Some people I would answer on, They'd be like, hey, what's going on? Let me see. Streaming. Everything good? Everything good? All right. Sorry about that. My mom, I'm making sure she's good to go. There's no problem or anything. It's funny, though. I'm waiting for the answer. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, let me read on. They include replies to the motion to quash, objections, the magistrate judge's order denying the motion to quash, notices of appeal to the 11th Circuit as to the order and motions. The motions range from moving to temporarily restrain all further filings by plaintiff's counsel under such filings until such filings can be verified as nonfiction by the science. See, these people are trying to cause a mistrial. You see this? This is what I mean. They brought in harassers for it. This is why you just wait. This fucking thing will turn into a circus because they will try to cause problems. Again, I'm not tagging it to anybody specific. I'm just saying there's a fucking precedent for that. We'll see. I mean, this is insane. And to quash the plaintiff's counsel's ego, amongst other things. Most, if not all, of John Doe Jane Roe filings are patently frivolous, but separately, it is a general rule that parties to a lawsuit must identify themselves in pleadings. Parties may not use fictitious names. This rule protects the public's legitimate interest in knowing all of the facts involved, including the identities of all parties. A party may proceed anonymously in federal court by establishing of substantial privacy right, which outweighs blah, blah, blah. So the court's basically saying, I didn't tell you all you could do this. The court knows this is fucking around, though, trying to cause a disaster. They know. And they're like, number one, you can't do that. And number two, you can't do that. But that's the kind of people you deal with. I think it needs to be very well documented in case it comes up in this case too, because there's no telling what will happen in here. It's just insanity. But this guy here is suing because he's saying, hey, these people are harassing me. They're harassing my family. They're harassing my children. They're mailing shit to my family members. It's wild. And you know, Paint Chips is documented running sock accounts, fucking harassing people. Like, it's documented. He was convicted of doing that with his election interference conviction. 100%. So you talking about, it's amazing it is amazing what some people get away with. It's funny. My mom takes it back. She's like, oh. She was like, oh, we're good. I was just going to chit chat. Cracks me up, man. But anyway, I think that this, like I said, is something that needs to be dug into. So if you're down with that, I'll bring it up a couple more times throughout this. Isn't it crazy how this case like loops off into these strange directions, by the way? Isn't it? So last night we were bringing something up. We were talking about contingency. Now, I want to bring this up because this is a huge deal, all right? Especially considering how it came up. So if you missed last night's live stream for some reason, we had it over on Megan's channel. We were going through Randy's newest filing, and we came to this part right here. We came to 138. Now, 138, I think this is a huge statement here. It notes that upon verified information that Madskin, that's BBB, has his written agreement. You know, you got to have a written signed agreement with Preston and Cook. And that is based on contingency. Now, last night, there's been damage control over this. All right. Trying to say that contingency is somehow the same as pro se. That is not correct. Pro se means free. It doesn't mean you get paid on the back end. It doesn't mean ambulance chase and then you get paid. This is huge. In fact, BBB lied about this to the courts. 100% provably in court filings. In document 124, in fact. Now, I'm also, if you would like to help out with something else, I am looking for public statements that have been made stating that this lawyer here is running pro se. You know, again, I would like his statements where he posted, but we don't have to have any of that because he filed it in a court document. That's right. He actually said that in a court document, which is, it's 110% a lie. I mean, I was shocked to think back, you know, to think about where and when he said this stuff. You have, let me pull this document up, actually. Give me a second. Now, give me a minute. Here it is. So here's the document. Well, one document. There are other documents too. But here's one document, for example, where he said, you know, that he wasn't going to show up for the sanctions hearing and the show cause based on 115. He said, you know, I'm not going to be there. Now, in this document, I said pro se. I meant pro bono. I don't know why I keep saying pro se. My brain is frying. You know what I'm talking about. I think I said pro se a few times. I mean pro bono. Lord. I'm telling you, like one of the things that is that with medical, again, you have to give me a little. I appreciate it anyway. If you give me a little leeway on crazy things, or not really crazy things, it's more, I guess, word confusion. If I take those, what do they call them? What's the name of the freaking medication? I take Midodrine, which has basically it's balanced out everything that goes on, but within they have like a 4-hour window, usually about 3-hour window, and about an hour and a half of that. Woo, man, it fucking wrecks my brain some days. So sometimes it's like looking through mud. So I get weird word confusion like that. But pro se and pro bono have been a bad one lately, and I don't know why. So pro bono, I said pro se, but I meant pro bono. Off of that, he kept saying that he's representing them for free, though. He's telling you over and over again, I'm doing this for free. I'm doing it for free. And you look at, again, this document, where he's saying, I can't do that. And he brings this up. I'm not going to be able to. The cost of the travel is also extremely burdensome and disproportionate for the defendant's pro bono counsel, especially when combined with the financial impact. So he lies multiple times in this sentence. He lies about this. He lies about indigence, because we know these people have been making money. But he was going to get a big back end pay. That was the whole idea. And it's fascinating to see how this is set up. All these fucking people thought that they were going to ride Jeremy Hale's, not his coattails. That's one thing. Again, they could have ridden in on that, covering the case, saying that they hated the man. They could 100% do that. But no, that wasn't the plan. It was to get involved in the litigation. And Bruce is one of the worst offenders about this stuff. It's so bizarre. Because like I said, when you look at it, look at the claims in this. And we're finding out now, if that ends up being 100% verifiable, holy crap, man. You're talking about a big deal. Because he's lied. And he didn't just, like he said, he didn't just go out and flex and say, oh, I'm doing this, to prop himself up in front of the ecosystem. That's douchebaggy. That's douchebaggery. Even though, to be honest, I actually don't give a fuck if those people get conned out of their money anymore. I've spent my time talking about it. If they want to give their money to scumbags and fucking hustlers and shit, that's their business. If they want to give it to people who lie about freaking going out and doing things for free and more, like I said, that's their prerogative. What does interest me, though? Give me 1 minute here. I'm rolling down to that part. I wanted to roll down to the whole statement in that document. God, this stuff is so crazy. It's crazy, like you have that pointed out in a different case. Well, See, here is the actual entire statement in the document. This is document 35 from Federal Case 2. It noted with Bruce, he made false statements about Mr. Hales, that are presented in a way that imply clear factual accusations. He stated, Mr. BBB did, that again, he was acting as a pro bono lawyer for Preston and Cook. However, upon verified information, I have heard there have been a couple of people that have said that. And actually, so I haven't had a chance to look this up yet, but somebody was nice enough to drop me by a link and tell me a little dilly that I thought, man, that might be interesting to check out. So apparently, I don't go on. I don't watch Paint Chips, and I don't watch Darth Touch. I just don't. There are so many of these people that they're hard for me to watch. Like they're bad at what they do. I'm not talking a few mistakes or anything. It's just like sad and pathetic all the way through, from their thumbnail game to their coverage game. It's awful. And they've been doing it a long time. Like there's no excuse for that if you've been doing it a long time. So it's just hard to listen to. Then there's the scumbaggery and knowing who the fuck they are too. But apparently during that, it's being reported that on the episode 23, around the 54-minute mark, you have BBB noting, number one, that he wrote motions for LMNOP. Number two, around the 58-minute mark, he talks about the signs. And then around the hour and 54 or 44-minute mark, Paint Chips asks if all of this is on contingency, and Bruce says yes. Huh. That's interesting. So he admits that comes up, but yet he lies in court and lies to the public too. That's very strange. So I get the feeling that, first of all, I don't think Randy's going to take the chance of not seeing that actual documentation. I don't know if it was turned over in Discovery. I'm not sure exactly how that came up. But what I do know is that's big time. I mean, this guy didn't just lie to the court. He lied. He lied about something. Again, courts, they offer a lot of leeway for people that are quote unquote indigent and they bring on somebody, not ambulance chasing pieces of shit. That those words, the whole idea of going out and working pro bono, again, it has an air of legitimacy to it. You're doing this stuff for free because you want to help people out. If, however, you set up something where you think you're going to get a payout at the end, that's totally different, because that means you're money hawking. You're not going in to help out the poor unfortunates. You're making sure that you get yours. You're gambling on whether or not you'll get paid. And apparently, see, it also makes a bigger statement, because when he bailed out of that case, what does that actually tell you? To me, that tells me that he doesn't think he can win. He doesn't think he's going to get paid anymore. So he bounced. In fact, here's a question for you, Bruce, since you're all over fucking internet, commenting on every freaking video, begging people to still get involved. I thought you were terrified to go out and do things. That's what he said, right? He couldn't go into sanctions, and he can't be part of this stuff because of the terrifying stuff, can't go out, can't do anything. And yet, the night before your hearing, there are posted pictures of you out at concerts. I didn't see any security hawking you, buddy. So you're living in terror and fear, but only when you're talking to the court. I see. I see how that is. And then, through all this, you're recruiting some of the biggest scumbags on the planet, in my opinion, to go out and people that are making legitimate threats towards Jeremy Hale. Talking about a projectile in the face, talking about violence and threats. Are you fucking kidding me? Huh. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it fascinates me. Like I said, dude's like, I'm terrified to go out and do anything. I'm so afraid. But he's out doing things. He's going to concert. I'm not talking about going get your fucking groceries because you got to eat, man. You know, I get that. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about he's out like partying and shit. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. Real state of fear. I guess you only hold on to that long enough for the freaking to try to sell it to the court. You know, we also recently we haven't been able to talk about this, and I think this is so funny. So, as you know, we still have a document on this. I don't know. I'm hoping we get a document. You would think we'd get a document on this, right? That we get a document on everything. Give me 1 minute. But remember, again, I want to pull up the documents on this. We were talking about it on the 1st, which was 2 days ago. Right. We've been waiting for the document on this. We still don't have it dropped into the docket. It may, when you get it, it may not be much of a document there anyway. But remember his filing for sanctions. You remember that where he was talking about he had to refile, first of all. He had 4 filings. What was it? 104, 105, 114, and 16. I think that's right. Like I said, those meds drive me nuts because I remember shit like these docket numbers, but I can't remember not to confuse pro se and pro bono these days. Drives me nuts. But no, I mean, look at that though. So Order 136 notes that 131, the motion for attorney fees, that was shot down because it lacked merit. And if you remember his whole argument about this kind of stuff, it actually combines with a couple other documents too. But the whole argument here, it was a fascinating argument. Let's see it since it's shot down. I always love looking at the shot down today. In this, again, remember, he asked for money because Amanda Martin. He was like, oh, Amanda Martin's deposed. You know what's funny is Paint Chips, Darth Touch, these morons have been trying to run with that, saying it was somehow illegitimate. Well, the judge didn't agree. Judge didn't agree it was illegitimate. But hey, you know, again, if you want to see how their involvement mirrors the involvement that I was talking about in that other case too. Darth Touch, what was his first move? He starts harassing Randy. Then what's his first move out of that? Oh, I'm gonna file bar complaints. I mean, again, they have been accused of doing this in family courts, of involving and causing mistrials, and it hurting people. It hurting the people they're supposed to be helping. But inserting themselves into the case, you can cover a case. You'll insert yourself into the case. And oh my God, Paint Chips, this is fucking crazy. He wrote an article not too long ago talking about how he has the right, under that other case I was talking about, he has doxing privilege. That's right. He has, since, remember, he was saying, well, since I've been sued, I have the ability to say whatever. Well, he was also saying that he files this shit. I mean, he's talking about it's so crazy, man. Let me pull up the statement. He said that he has, he wrote a document saying he has doxing privilege. That's exactly how he wrote it. Freaking doxing privilege. He calls it #doxing for justice. Doxing, if you're not aware, is taking out the information that a person, it's not that they don't want it out there. It talks about, it's information that it's not readily available, and it's also utilized for harassment purposes and more. So he's talking about things like dumping addresses, names, family members' names, shit like that. This is a piece of shit, man. These people are bad people. I don't know how to get that across. And if you don't like that fat man, sue me. I really mean that. Please, please fucking do it. Because I would love to talk about who you are. Because I'm going to talk a lot about who you are. I mean, these are bad people. And what they do, they have a racket where they get involved in court cases and they terrorize the people that are involved. And it's fucked up that exists. To run across it, to see people operating it, and to be able to operate it over time. This guy, when he was on probation, was doing this shit according to documentation. You can look back and you have filings in family court where like this fat piece of shit is harassing me and my family. So he's supposed to be on probation, but nothing happens. Huh. Weird. I've been running that racket for a while. When you put all that information together, you can understand. Like I said, this case has attracted some very bad people. I kept thinking, man, you know, what's even worse about it is at first felt like it was attracting scammy people. But then unscrupulous, that's no, that's not even where it starts. These people, again, they brag about they're going to dox, they're going to do just horrible shit to people because they want to intimidate them. And you know what? It works. It absolutely works. People drop out. They worry about them. I worry about fat piece. What's he going to do to me? Come to my house. I'll roll him out like a pill bug. Fuck his fat ass. He's not going to mess with me. But he is mentally unhinged. It is, it's court documented. You know, he has absolute mental health problems. The courts talked about how, you know, in his, give me 1 minute. A court talked about how he was a danger to others. He's definitely not remorseful, you know. Not at all. It was a conspiracy to take him down. And he's being propped up by these awful people. Could you imagine if Jeremy Hales hired somebody like that? He incentivized them. Could you imagine how that would have been? It would just be something else utilized to destroy his life. But then they've really done it. They have absolutely incentivized some of the worst people on the fucking planet. So anyway, like reading through that gets me a little ranty. Amanda Martin, though, that was the, for the sanctions that got shut down. Amanda Martin, Doc 85 and 86. Also, the document number 80 talked about falsifying legal authority. And apparently the court agreed that all these allegations about Randy not paying his part when it came to the Jeremy Hales depot. Yeah, apparently the courts, they didn't agree with him on that. And it, like I said, it's fascinating about this stuff because what he wants as part of this, and really, was it Doc 124? Give me 1 minute. I think I closed that shit. Because of this and because of Doc 124. Remember when he was talking about setting things aside? He was saying that if the judge gave them money, that he should set this money aside so that LMNOP and JC could sue Jeremy Hales. It was like a last desperate Hail Mary. I don't know if you remember us talking about that, but when he was asked to answer sanctions, I think that would be in 130. I think that's in the response to show cause. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up real quick. But yeah, in that, he talks about how if the courts agree, if they allow it, then he'd like to, until he can file his last filing, his last Hail Mary, he would ask to set aside or postpone the withdrawal. Yeah, it's in that document. Give me 1 minute. It's on page 10. Good deal. Yeah, so it's on page 130 or on document 130. I couldn't remember for sure. I kept thinking it started in 129 or 124 and into 130. Give me 1 minute. I'm talking to myself. Like, wait a minute. Do you not ever get annoyed when you're like, hey, I think I remember where this is discussed. Let me look it up. So in there, he actually gives away the game a little bit, and this all gets shot down. It's pretty. I don't know. It's pretty sad the way it gets shot down, because in the show cause hearing, he noted that, well, if I could judge, I'd like to postpone my withdrawal pending a summary judgment. If we get that, if we can get our money, if we can get our fees, maybe you can set those fees aside. Like that's what he's talking about. Like taking that money and allowing them the appointment of counsel or check this out right here. So he's like, if the court agrees that the plaintiff's counsel has abused litigation to multiply proceedings for YouTube content so that awarding attorney fees, this is what got shot down, under 28 UMC 1927 is warranted, the defendants believe it would be equitable for those attorney fees to be paid to contribute to the cost of appointing other counsel. He's like, sue them and get us more counsel or cost them. And they talked about it later on. Like I said, they wanted to use that money for litigation funds too. Isn't that fascinating? They thought they could reach into Jeremy Hale's pocket and they could get him to pay for their lawyer. And it failed. It failed utterly because it was a terrible argument. In fact, I thought Randy did a good job of knocking that down. Like very well. He essentially, his argument against this, and apparently the court agreed 100%, by the way. His argument against all of that was to say that in order to have sanctions, you have to have unreasonable behavior. You have to do something vexatiously. It's defined there. Now, the courts haven't quite come to the agreement on what vexatiously means, but vexatiously clearly means something more than unreasonable. So he goes through, again, telling you the idea. Here we go. So he's talking about bad faith. 1927 is not a catch-all provision for sanctioning objectionable conduct by counsel. For sanctions under Section 1927 to be appropriate, something more than a lack of merit is required. The statute was designed to sanction attorneys who willfully abuse the judicial process by conduct tantamount to bad faith. Now, bad faith, that has to be the touchstone in it. So when Bruce is arguing all of this, he needs to prove that it's not just useless. You're not out there. It doesn't have a lack of merit. See, their argument was this doesn't have merit. That right there, like Amanda Martin, that has no merit. No, it needs to be more than that. It needs to be about bad faith. Again, a determination of bad faith is warranted where an attorney knowingly and recklessly pursues a frivolous claim or engages in litigation tactics that needlessly obstruct the litigation of non-frivolous claims. So just to say, he files something like, again, 85 and 86, for example, under that statute he wanted to use. That doesn't warrant it. Is it obstructing? Is he acting in bad faith? Is he recklessly doing this? No. So he ends up losing that filing, which, like I said, is fascinating when you get down to it, because the argument that they try to present, it's half the time I feel like Bruce didn't even read the freaking the statutes that he quotes, and you know, I feel like that more and more, to be honest, because as far as Bruce's filings are concerned, I mean, when you think about this, he would have filings that they get shot down because it's like he doesn't understand what he's writing about. There are a lot of words. Have you ever met anybody that writes a lot of words that mean nothing? Have you ever met those kind of people? Like me, I can speak and say nothing, but you know, I get bored like that. But there are people that love the sound of themselves so much that they'll just continue and continue and continue, and they'll file and they'll talk about how they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know, they go out, they pat themselves on the back. They do it, of course, so other people will do this. Meanwhile, I mean, what does it really achieve? Nothing. I mean, this guy did more damage on this case. I was looking through the docket where he came on, and I kept trying to think, this is terrible. I don't normally say something like this, but I kept thinking, was it better for them to be pro se or worse? You know, was it better to be pro se or to be pro bono? I think about how crazy that sounds, by the way. You would think there would be no situation where somebody representing themselves would be better, especially like a Lynette Preston and a John Cook. But I mean, what did Bruce accomplish? I mean, granted, if we went best case scenario, what did he accomplish? That they managed to get one of the accusations knocked out. Okay, well, what was that accusation about? It was the accusation that he was acting, or that she and he, that would be Cook and Preston, they were acting in concert with others. They had a conspiracy going on. You know, the anti-what-the-hales media ecosystem. Now, where did that come from? It came from their pro bono lawyer. He's the guy who coined the phrase. He's the one that talked about putting it together behind the scenes. So I would say, you know, with him, he definitely picked up some baggage. He still writes people. I saw a message today from somebody where he's writing people. He seems to really have a hate boner for Megan Fox still. I don't really get that, by the way. Like her by herself, you know, like you would think there's so many people out there like Shizzy. I would think he'd hate Shizzy more than Megan Fox, but no, he actually hates Megan Fox more than Shizzy. Isn't that amazing? Now, I'm gonna shorten tonight a little bit. I'm feeling the greatest today. Now, not from the other stuff, just from the weather. I think tomorrow what I want to do is I want to look at that police video that came up. But I think tonight I'm going to cut it to this. I wanted to talk about the case with that guy. And especially again, when I'm talking about that, remember, I am not talking about covering a different case, like, you know, getting that. That's not why I want to look at it. I want to look at any document that pertains to paint chips, because, like I said, I want to see what these people filed as anonymous parties in it. I'm going to see how they tried to disrupt this trial. I want to see what the accusations are about harassment and more. Because again, the whole concept of what was being talked about there was that this piece of garbage, he was brought in by these people for the sole purpose of doing that. Yeah, man. If he ends up winning a case like that, if these people, they end up getting labeled as harassers for hire, man, that really looks interesting for this case. But on the same side of that too, I would think the person in that case, they might find it fascinating what this person has done here. But anyway, let's read some super chats here. So my favorites kicking it off there. Thank you. 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. My favorites, by the way. Appreciate you very much. Jillian dropped 5 gifted memberships too. I saw a bunch of these when I came in. I was like, whoa, man, what's up with all the gifted memberships? And thank you again. I love those and I appreciate you immensely for dropping those. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships as well, Jillian. Thank you. Andre, thank you for sit Venmo. I will check that, and I'm going to roll through here and then I'll hit anything else. And thank you very much. That is awesome of you, Andre. That's great. I appreciate it. Jillian, thank you also for a membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Thugs. Actually, let me look. Let me see what's there. I'm going to say in 1 minute. Oh, wow. You sent $100. That's wild there. Thank you for that. That is very, very cool of you. Like I said, that is very good. I like it because I don't like being constrained when I look at stuff too. Normally I wouldn't even mention, like usually with cases and stuff, you know, if there's cost associated, just eat it. It's not a big deal. But if I'm looking at like 200 or 300 freaking filings I may pull, I'd rather not do that. You know, some of these filings, like they essentially eat about 10 cents a word. Or I'm not word, but a page. I said word. Whoa, that'd be terrible, wouldn't it? And you're like, oh my God. A brief filing will cost you $1 million. To be honest, Pacer, that system should be free. If we are talking about having a transparent court system, you know, where it's open to the public, which it's supposed to be, you shouldn't have to pay to get documentation. You should never have to pay for stuff like that. And now if you had to have copies of it, that would be different. But they already have to upload the documents, like the Pacer. They have to upload it. And if I request it, it's handled by the machine. It's not handled by the person. So I shouldn't be charged to get that. I'm just getting it, you know, whatever that file is, it's just giving me access to it, but it put it behind a paywall. So it shouldn't cost money, period. You as a taxpayer pay for the Pacer system. And you're paying money so you can access that. I mean, that should be illegal because it does not let everyone truly see what happens, you know, behind that gavel. You have to have somebody access it. I think that's awful. But thank you, Andre. That's awesome of you there. Fran also dropped a 40 on there too. Fran, thank you too. Dropped it for the docs. That's awesome. I love reading. I love reading documents. So that's pretty good, man. Cheryl dropped a 5 there for entertainment. That will definitely be entertainment for sure. Thank you for that. That's awesome of you. For entertainment, indeed. That is my. I do turn to that for entertainment quite a bit. I saw a 5 on PayPal as well for Cheryl. I don't know if those are the same, separate. Either way, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, I will be putting these things to good use. You will be able to say, you'll be like, how can I tell that stuff's used? Yeah, I'll be reading the documents to you. So if you have any question, that. And some of them, again, if you are curious about that case, by the way, I will drop it in the chat. This is through Court Listener. Now, you'll notice some documents are free. You know, Court Listener does that. It gives you some documents for free, but it doesn't give you everything. It'll be on page 2. I have it linked there. But if you're curious about that case, I'm terrible with names. I will butcher this person's name. Their name is NOSHIRVAN. So I'll spell it again. NOSHIRVAN. I will butcher their name. Versus Couture. It has been long lasting though. But I've never seen a case spammed so much. I mean, I've seen papered cases, but usually when you have a papered case, like with Hale's case, I mean, that is heavily papered. But normally when you have a papered case like that, at least the people that are doing it are involved in the case. This one, though, again, with paint chips gets involved. Holy crap, man. Look at all that. I mean, look at this. This is the second page. Look at that. This is nuts. Look at all those. These are all documents. See, this is what I mean. You know, they tell you, like, if you want an exhibit, okay, there's 17 exhibits, this document right here, right? Say I wanted to get them all. Well, the main documents here, right? You have exhibit A and A1. Those are available. But then, okay, we're just chipping exhibits for one file out of 300 and something. What would that cost? You can see $3, $1.60. $3. So, I mean, here in exhibits, you have about $15 in exhibits right here if you wanted to pull them. And I don't know if I'd want to pull every one of them, but if you did, you know, you can easily rack up some dollar bills, y'all, you know, because you can see any of them that are not, if they're blue, you can still download. So if you want to go through and look at high points in this case, though, you can, and you can find some stuff on paint chips. I'll throw in some numbers for you right off the bat too. Documents that would be interesting if you do look that link up. You have document, I think it's 209, or it's either 208 or 209. You have document 219, which is a response by Chubbs. You have 230, which is an order talking about Chubbs. You have in the 300s, you have a bunch of those filings I was talking about, the anonymous filings. And then in 339, you have a response knocking those. And when I'm like I said, I want to look at those because I'm curious about how they come together. So anyway, there's a few numbers on there too. If you get curious and you want to go look at the freebies in it, you definitely should. Jillian, no, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs. Thank you for that again. I appreciate it. I can't remember if I thanked you before, but I'm thanking you again there. Thank you. Vanessa, thanks for the 10. Thank you for always being you. I've missed hearing your adorable pint-sized princess. She's asleep right now. Actually, you know, it's funny. She's crashed out. They worked all day long. So little one, she was up really late, and her grandma came over today. She was goofing off and playing and stuff, and they were cleaning too. So they worked all day, and she played some too. So she played hard, and she's crashed out right now. And Lug, the lovely Lug, looking forward to more interruptions tonight by either of them for Skinny Pop. Well, thank you first of all, Vanessa. But yeah, I've been working on her room. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. So she set aside today. She got on she had to cover some school stuff, and then their grandma came over and they cleaned and everything else. It was a busy day for them. So they're both crashed out. You can tell they had a busy day when they've crashed out by 7 o'clock. Taz, thanks for the 10 gifted memberships there. Thank you, Taz. That's awesome there. That is much appreciated. Thank you. Vanessa, thanks for the 5. Congratulations to the lovely Rhea Raya getting wrenched up. Yep. Actually, Rhea Raya. So I had somebody hit me up and say Rhea Raya had accidentally been banned. And I was like, banned? So I went through the ban list and I was like, I don't see Rhea Raya on the ban list. But then I thought, Rhea Raya has been here forever. Why can Rhea Raya get banned anyway? Oh, yeah, it's because Rhea Raya doesn't have a wrench. So fix that today. Thank you. You know, and there may have been a temporary muting or something, but it wasn't a ban. It was just a hiding for a moment. And that was an accidental one too. That happens. I do that sometimes. I've accidentally muted people and hidden people. If it happens here, apologies. You know. Wheat Toast, thank you for the membership too. Wheat Toast, what's up, my friend? Thank you. Max Lab, thanks for the 2 there. Hey, Tuck. Hey, how are you doing, man? How you doing, Max Lab? It was actually a semi-quiet day today. Wasn't that weird, by the way? No craziness popping off or anything? Huh. Kind of shocking. Elu, thank you for the gifted membership, too. Thank you, Elu. Appreciate you as well. It's good to see you again, too. Angel, thanks for the 16 months. Hey there, Tug. Let's go. Indeed. Let's go, baby. Yuma, thanks for the 2 there. Just got back from boating. Perfect timing. Indeed. Perfect timing. Yeah. You know, you got in right when the thing was starting because that was at 7:12. So we were still right in the very beginning. That was great. Lori dropped 5 gifted memberships as well. Man, see, like I said, an army of memberships came in. Thank you, Lori. That is awesome. Amanda, thank you. Dropped 5 gifted memberships too. Said that's great. And Taz dropped another 10 gifted memberships. So check this out in that blog. And all of you, appreciate all of you. But Taz, Amanda, Lori, there's 20. We'll have Elu, 21. Wheat Toast, 22. Taz, again, 32. Look at all the people getting hooked up through that. Jillian. And then I'm my favorites. What is that, 42? That's crazy. And like I said, that's a hookup for folks. I love it. Thank y'all. Cunning Linguist, thanks for the 2. She'll be paid. Thank you. It's funny. Thanks, Cunning Linguist. Hey, Sean, thanks for the 20. She'll payment. Thank you as well. Appreciate it. Jerry, thanks for the 5. Document support. Thank you. Carol, thanks for the 2 there as well. Pull the paper trail, Doug. Indeed. Thank you. Yeah, I love going through those. Becky, thanks for the 2. Sure sounds like BBB is involved. It sounds interesting. It actually sounds reverse. Sometimes it sounds like Paint Chips has been involved in other stuff, doesn't it? I'm not saying they are. Again, I'm just saying, DTG, thanks for the 5. Please pull the motion to quash plaintiff's counsel's ego from that case. Sounds interesting. Oh, I will. I'll pull that one. Because again, I want somebody that tells you, again, there are disruptions in the case. Like when you look through the motions, like I was saying from the filings, these fictitious names, you can tell all they're trying to do is cause damage. You know, they would say, we're trolling. Well, you don't troll a courtroom. You're not. They're trying to disrupt and to cause issues. I mean, they put in a filing. Again, they put in a filing to move temporarily restrain. Again, listen to what this is. Temporarily restrain all further filings by plaintiff's counsel until such filings can be verified as nonfiction by the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association. Now, again, that's funny, but it's not. It's inappropriate, and it fucks the people they're working with there. Because you know these people are doing that. You know who did it. They're trying to do damage. They're hoping they'll cause a mistrial, like I said. They're trying to harm the plaintiff in this. And then they did the motion to quash plaintiff's ego. Those, by the way, that would be, see this one, that you can see it, it's right there. That one, the ego one is right there. Look, motion to quash plaintiff's ego, or plaintiff's counsel's ego, rather. I mean, what the fuck? And 305, I got a Pacer account, so I'll end up picking it up, you know. But that's 305. And that's emergency motion for restraining order. And the restraining order is like, oh, we want to make sure that everything's nonfiction until. These are people, again. If they'll act like that, they'll act like that in this too. I'm going to pull this. This shit is nuts, man. It also, yeah, it's submitted. So 308 is submitted as John Doe 6. What a bunch of weirdos, dude. Good God, man. I'm pulling this one. I'm saving it. Just give me a second. I'm always looking at it for a second. We're going to have to have its own reading of some of these because they are nuts. Give me 1 minute. That locked up for a second. There we go. Yeah, we'll definitely pull that one though. Carol, drop 20 there. Not a statement. Is very much a statement. Thank you again for helping out with that. That is appreciated. Andre, thanks for the 2 there. Hey, Tug, love the Judge Tug avatar. Thank you. Actually, you know what you could do? So here's what I did to pull avatar like that. I had Grok make me its type of picture, you know, like its avatar type. And then I had ChatGPT turn it into a cartoon. So when I put them together, they actually make one good one. I'd already picked up, Twitter with the limited Grok it is for a year because it pays for itself. Posting over there, it pays more than the check mark. So otherwise they throttle you. That's what, man, Twitter, by the way, has become one of the most, and I don't say this lightly. I don't buzzword this. I truly mean it. It has become one of the worst cesspool racist pieces of garbage. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how bad it is out there. Jack's mom, thanks for the 10. Tomorrow, Dad's 82nd birthday. That is awesome there. I've been doing party stuff all day long. I'm exhausted. This is my Scaverment. Thank you very much for a Friday stream. Hey, you are welcome. And Jack's mom, you know, of course. Your dad, he gets a honorary it's your birthday. You know? It's your birthday. It's his birthday tomorrow. So we want to say, hey, it's his birthday. Yep. Actually, I love the fact that people will have connection with their family. 80 freaking 2. It's amazing. Judy, thanks for the 2 there. The eyeballs. Oh my gosh. Indeed. Thank you. Fallen Hero, thank you for the gifted membership there. Thank you very much, Fallen Hero. It's good to see you too, my friend. Patty, thank you also for gifted membership. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bognicki, thanks for the 5. Pro bono contingency charges. What got him in a hearing to begin with, NCT. That's right, isn't it? Not related to his KO suit. That makes you wonder, you know, not expressly noting that there are fees. I wonder if, since he already had problems in another court, you know, pulling this kind of business, if he could have other problems too, you know, because again, he's telling the court that he is pro bono. He made sure to tell, not just the world. I mean, that's scumbaggy. But he told the courts. And then if he's got a contingency set up on the back end, that is not pro bono. That is some fraudulent BS. You've got to clearly and concisely point that out. He may have done that in his contract with JC, with LMNOP, but he lied to the court saying that he's pro bono. He lied. If that is the case, that is freaking beyond. I wonder if I can get him in trouble. Carol, thanks for the 2. Birds of the feather flock together. Indeed. That is very true. That is very, very true. Navy Vet, love for the broken. Thanks for the 10 there. Contingency. If plaintiff wins, lawyer gets 30 to 40%. If plaintiff loses case, attorney gets to, at 0. Yep. That's a contingency. That's exactly it. They get whatever the payment is, and it's usually he's going to walk away with quite a big chunk, quite a bit of change. Because then, see, on contingency, it's working for a future payoff. So all of those hours he put in, they're not free hours. That's working for some future goal. Now, maybe that doesn't work out for you. And apparently he didn't think that was going to work out for him. I was talking to somebody, and they said, well, he jumped off the case because sanctions and everything. Well, that may be. But he didn't really have to jump off the case for sanctions. He didn't avoid those. He's still in it as far as sanctions until until that's done. What he avoided was having to follow this all the way through. And I think it had become such a quagmire. Either he didn't think he could win, or he's just given up. I mean, that's a possibility too. It is a possibility too. Now, he's still going to be behind the scenes in douchebag there. He's got his reputation, whatever is left of it in the ecosystem, tied to this shit. Plus, he's a vindictive, very petty, small person. You can tell. So, of course, he's not going to walk away. When he should. Sticky Widget. Thanks you for the 10 gifted memberships. Sticky. What's up? Thank you for that, by the way, my friend. Sticky Widget, awesome. Thank you for the 5 there. Well done, Chad. You get 10 memberships because you're the most awesome superhero Chad ever. Indeed. And thank you, for real. You guys are awesome. You very much are. Thank you. Colleen, thanks for the 10. The stupidity is crazy. He spent his life believing everyone is stupider than he is. Wrong. Yes, there are some people that cannot be wrong. I don't like to be wrong. It bothers me. But see, that's okay. In life, there's 2 ways to taking that. It irritates me when I'm wrong. So I try to rectify that by being right the next time. I try to be wrong as little as possible. But unfortunately in life, you are going to be wrong sometimes, and you have to be flexible enough that when you're confronted, you can't be some fragile little flower out there. Oh my God, I can't take it. That's the problem with somebody like that. If they just freak out every time they're wrong, they do a lot of freaking out. Yes, he's done a lot of freaking out. Just Jay. What's up, Just Jay here? Thanks for the 5 there. Bowman and Lickman are basically my best friends. Bowman is sending me clothing. You start dressing like him. You're going to start shopping at the Baby Gap together. That'd be awesome, man. Y'all look so cute together. Maybe... I wonder if you can get that same depressed look that he has. He looks like life has stepped on his face. I mean, he looks bad. I'm like, oh my God, man. It looks like he hates life. I would feel bad for old Nard Touch. I would. I'd feel very bad for him, but he's such a scumbag that it's hard to. I mean, I feel bad for him with that. Hey, Sassy. Tug, I need your email address. I have something important to send you. Need your help with. I think I found RBC. Oh, let me drop it in there. Okay. 1 second. If you haven't found it yet, you may have already found it. If not, wait, there's another message. Okay, you did find it actually, because I see another one. It says check the email. If you ever have a question on email, by the way, if you can't find it easily, you go. Not every YouTube channel have this, but like for mine, if you go to the about portion, you know, the drop down on the main page where it has like it tells you your URL and all of that, it'll have something that says for business contact, and there'll be an email. That's me. That's how you find me, real simple. Yeah. But I will check it out for sure. Dare, thanks for the 10. Help you out. I had physical therapy today. Very tired. Hey, that's good though. I mean, physical therapy, you know what? The tiredness in it, the wear down, is because you have been working hard. Proud of it, man. You know, I remember taking my daughter. I used to have to take my daughter to physical therapy. When she was really little, she had a problem, and it delayed her walking. And it was interesting to watch. She'd come up with ways to move that, you know, that they weren't the norm, you know, but she was delayed on that. So we used to have to take her to physical therapy and, you know, watch it all the way up till, you know, when she could do so. Now, her playing soccer and things, it's just fascinating to look back. It's pride, though. You can see that pride movement. I remember having some therapy on my knee. Whew. It's rough too. Love to you. It's rough. It is rough. Lori, thanks for the 2 there. One must take care of themselves first. That way they can take care of others. That is very true too. That is absolutely very true. Tonight I'm cutting short, you know. I just yeah. Well, tomorrow we'll hit that police thing. You know, Hale's put up a video, but Shara had put it into her video too. Now, as far as Shara's takedown, I believe she is filing a response. The response has to be a legal argument. So, well, she's putting that over 2L striking her channel. Remember, they struck her channel over images. They say they own them, which is the stupidest shit ever. Because you think about that. If you said, oh man, copyrighted image, shit, you ever show another channel? If I created the imagery on that, which I do, you know, I create my thumbnails, I create shirts, my avatars, they're mine. You know, some of them are AI, some of them aren't. So some of them are artist creations. So if it goes by that, but the thing that they put up there, Royal Flush, you can't even freaking copyright it. And it hasn't been copyrighted. That's the kicker. They didn't copyright it. It's not in the copyright registry. So to say that it's copyrighted material is absolutely stupid. You know, they think that it just copyrighted it automatically because they created, it's my copyright, my create. Well, first of all, fair use, we cover that. Second of all, there was no monetization of it as far as going out and directly marketing it. Somebody didn't sell it. It's just ridiculous, man. But Calvin, thanks for the membership. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tug's Thugs. Thank you, Calvin. It's awesome. Appreciate you. And Rach, thanks for the 5. Just tuning in. Please take care of yourself. Obviously missed something about to start at the toast party. Toast party. You got to enjoy the toast party. Give me 1 minute here. Let me check and make sure I haven't missed anything else. Yeah, I did indeed there. Let's see. There's a couple more folks in here too. So Deborah dropped a 20 there. Thank you, Deborah. Says, love you, Tug. Love return there. Thank you very much. That is much appreciated. Thank you. Joanne dropped a 10 on there too. I have a mental picture of you rolling out paint chips in a true Charlie in the Chocolate Factory style. Instead of violent Beauregard, it's violent disregard. That's hilarious. That's really funny. Much love to you, Lug and Bug. Thank you. That is funny too. Violent disregard. I think I love that. Nancy, thank you for the 20 there as well. Nancy dropped 20. Fighting for justice. What the hells? Well, thank you for that. And again, I'm going to end. You can hear my throat. It's a little. So I'm going to end early tonight. Tomorrow we'll go over probably the police video is my plan. But I will see you all. And well, we'll end here. Thank you.